Hi again, welcome back to my channel. I've got Marg Lange here again, and we are going to talk about
from idea to launch signature program that I'm rolling out.
Yes, that's right, and the 5 pillars of networking, or 5 pillars of launching. Yep. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so in my signature program from idea to launch, I'm rolling out a program in relation to how to launch a business idea through pillar 1 being networking, pillar 2 being building relationships, pillar 3 about connecting, pillar 4 is influence, and pillar 5 is negotiation.
Wow. Okay. So let's go through those pillars quickly. So pillar 1 is networking, would you say?
Yes, so pillar 1 is networking. So in this pillar, what I'm trying to do is actually help you realise that networking is more about building relationships than what you think that networking is. Networking isn't about showing up, meeting a great lot of people, handing out some business cards, and then going home, because that's a waste of money. So in the networking pillar, I actually go through how are you showing up. That means in your mind as much as your presence, because everyone has a first impression. And so how are you showing up in your head, because that can be a block to how you relate to people when you are networking. And the other thing is, do you have a networking strategy? So in the book that I'm reading on Super Connectors, they're basically telling you that you should be really looking at your networking strategy in relation to where the industry people would be, your target market will be in that networking scenario. So don't just randomly rock up and think your customer's there, because that is not going to be the truth. You have to be strategic in your networking. And then the other thing is that through the networking pillar, I actually like to teach hands-on how to actively listen, how to build rapport, how to identify an opportunity in a conversation, and then how to position yourself as the solution. So that's pillar 1.
That person couldn't help you directly. They could know somebody. So you can't write them off, can you? I mean,
that's right, because if you want to, like, we always talk about how the hacks to do something quicker. But if you think about that your network is 6 degrees of separation to the person that you know is going to be the solution. It could be a customer, it could be someone who can refer you, or someone who can open a door. That means that when you're networking, it's important to build the relationship so that you can then connect outside that network. I was actually watching a TED Talk just recently, and he was talking about the weak links in your network. And these weak links are people that you don't know very well. And the problem is with networking is that we gravitate to people that we know. Like, I've seen you there before, so I'm going to stay and I'm going to be in there and have the conversation because I'm comfortable. And I just do that rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that doesn't work, because the weak link person is the person you don't know very well, is the one that's more likely to want to help you or ask you for your help. So that's really, really important in terms of networking and weak links. So unfortunately, we're social animals. We like to go to the herds where our friends are, but we've got to get out of our comfort zone and be strategic about our networking.
Do you find it's better to go to a networking event without your friends? Because
Definitely. Definitely. And the other thing I would say is that if you go without your friends and you're feeling a bit tense and you walk up to a group, please be considered, because somebody might be in a really deep and meaningful conversation that's providing value. And this is probably one of my pet hates, is when you do go to something, you do see someone, and you just put your hand, oh my God, you interrupt the conversation, which is so rude. And then you take the conversation to what you've been doing socially, and that poor person that was trying to connect doesn't have any chance at all. So there is so many things, so many mistakes people make when networking. I go through all the things that you could be doing better in terms of how you're showing up, what you're saying, scripts, basically how to present yourself, and identifying a green light where you can help somebody else, or you are the person that could help that person you're talking to. And come up with a lead every time without being sleazy, because that's why we go. We go because we want a lead or a sale. Let's be true, truthful. We do. As much as we say we're going to help people,
no,
we do want to come out and make it worth our while.
Of course. I mean, usually you are taking time away from your family. You want to gain something at the end of the night.
Correct.
But there is certain ways of doing it, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, pillar 2.
Pillar 2 is all on relationships, and this is going back to the networking thing. And in terms of relationships are built on the third pillar, which is pillar 3, connection. And to connect, you really need to have eye contact. You need to actively listen to then develop the relationship. You have to be able to listen to get the context of what that person is on about, take interest in them. Think of your relationship that you have with someone as an asset, because they are the things that are really, when the chips are down and you need help, those relationships are the ones that can really support you when you really need help. So there's a difference between a contact, a relationship, and a connection, and a friend. And when you think about it, if you're on LinkedIn, you have so many connections. I don't know about you, but I know that plenty of people don't really develop those connections. They go, oh, look at me, I've got 563 connections. No, you don't. You have a contact. That's really a contact. A connection is a bit deeper than a contact. A connection is somewhere where you're actually starting to find a little bit of synergy, and you're getting a connection, you're sort of on alignment, and then that develops to a relationship, which then a relationship will be built around more contact, more often, and more willingness to help. And then that can then go to a friendship. So that's pretty much the process of relationships. And you really should be looking at your network as an asset that you can use, not to serve yourself, but to help others. And just in reciprocity, it always comes back. They can open doors to their pillar 3, connections. So pillar 3 is all about connections that really will open the doors to the people who've got influence. All right, so we really do need to find a lot more connections through our relationships that started from networking. Those connections that it's a bit like the boys club, the elite boys club, the movers and shakers. Where are they? So to find those movers and shakers is being able to be in a relationship with someone who goes, I know someone who's really well connected, I'll introduce you. Connection is all about the person that can make things happen as a connector does. And they do it from not a place of self-serving, but do it from a place because they like to see things happen, and they like to see solutions, and they like to solve problems. So pillar 3 is I teach basically how to access connectors or become one yourself. And then pillar 4 is all about influence. And when you think about influence marketing, which seems to be the buzzword today, and I always laugh about people who say, oh, that influencer, she cost $1,000 and she only goes on for 5 seconds, and she thinks that she's going to influence and all these people go and buy the products. That's so shallow, guys. You actually can become your own influencers if you understand the concept of how to influence. And that is basically how to find a win-win with the people, with your connections, having the right relationships whilst you're networking, how to find a win-win in a conversation, how to leverage people you know. And you're not leveraging for the wrong reason, but you're leveraging because you know it's going to help them and the other person. So learning about JVs, relationships, and who are their connections and how you can influence them to fill an event. And usually when you're going into a situation where you need to connect with someone that you don't know, you have to be able to understand how to influence them to then negotiate the outcome you want, which there's pillar 5. And negotiation also in terms of the outcome could be something in relation to a sale, or it could be work with me, or please introduce me to that person. It could be a negotiation in terms of conflict of a business partnership. negotiation is such an important skill. Use all those skills that I've just taught you to actually find the right people and do it really quickly.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, I need $3,000 for a website.
Yeah.
I don't have a website at the moment. I don't need one.
You don't actually need to start a website before you sell anything. Because I think if you have that connection and have that influence, you can sell something on social media. Sometimes I find that if I put up an image on my business social media account, I can sell that even before I add it onto my website. So, yeah, sometimes people build a website to store. You know, like, I can only start my business if I have this and this. I mean...
So true. Because Bic, how did you find me?
Oh, yes, I just sent you a message, didn't I?
Yeah,
on a group
would be me. Not on my website.
No, on a business chat group.
That's right.
Yes. They should be teaching these 5 pillars at school. And not only for business, but for social and personal. Starting from teenagers, people are very afraid of rejection and they're afraid to connect. If you learn how to network and build relationships, you don't have to be afraid of rejection.
No.
Because it would have been already wiped out in the first 2 steps, wouldn't it?
Correct. And when you think about it, guys, is that, would you agree that business is all about people?
Yes.
So it's probably a good idea to understand how to relate to people, more so than your content that you're writing, because sometimes people write content or they do Facebook ads or they go do Insta posts, but they don't understand people. So if you don't understand people, you're not going to win this at all, because people do business with people they like, know and trust.
Yes.
That's where they buy. That's where you buy from.
You will pay even a bit more for those qualities. When I was in sales for a year, we did learn about winning your customers by undercutting your competitors or winning your customers by adding value.
Correct.
And the adding value was a lot more important than the price. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Because at the end of the day, you can't win on price ever. And you're discounting yourself when you discount your price, and you're also discounting your offering. So it is always better to add value, and to add value is through the relationships that you're building
And the trust. Absolutely.
That's exactly right. So I really hope that people understand the value of understanding how to relate to people, how to communicate, how to connect, how to influence, how to negotiate. And I would like to just finish this by saying to you, please stop networking and start building relationships through learning how to connect. That is pretty much
priceless. Priceless information. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I've learned so much from it just through this conversation. Beautiful. And I hope you do. I hope to see you again on this channel. Can you please subscribe and leave us a comment on what you've learned and what you want to know more about, and we could respond to that. And I'll add all Marg's details in the description section down below. Thank you.